Hello everyone, Shintobean here with another faction-focused video. This one we are talking about the Necrons. Now just a little bit of trivia, when this game was first released, the Necrons had the smallest roster of units by far. They only had about a dozen bodyguards, but as you can see they have quite a bit more now. Just as much, if not more, than any other faction. And this month there was a special Necron event where they also got 2 new warlords, increasing the total to 4. So let's start out talking about these warlords. So on the left we have the Stormlord. Now this guy is the most expensive Necron warlord, but very powerful stats-wise. His special rule is also very strong. Whenever a card readies, it deals 20 damage to a random enemy unit. So very powerful warlord. He's legendary, of course, so it is a little bit harder to get copies of him, but definitely a good option. On the other hand, we've got the Corpse Lord, who is the cheapest Necron warlord, enabling you to use him with some of the more expensive, powerful Necron bodyguards. His special rule also activates when your card's ready, but instead of dealing damage, it heals. I personally prefer the Stormlord. I like kind of the more aggressive dealing damage abilities, but yeah, Corpse Lord is quite good. I think that healing also synergizes well with the Berserker units that Necrons have a number of now. Now the 2 new warlords, we've got Zondrak here. Zondrak is a very unique and interesting warlord, fun to play as, one of the most fun I think. He also, once you unlock his trait actually, he has the potential to use that trait twice in the same battle, which is quite powerful. I have not unlocked that yet, so being new warlords, they're still at the lower levels, but once I upgrade them, I'll definitely be using them more. This is the newest warlord for the Necrons, the Scorpic Destroyer Lord. And yeah, level 2, he's quite weak, so I would not use him in ranked mode yet, but at level 3 he gets a decent boost to range damage. At level 4 he gets Berserk. And his special rule is a little bit situational, I think. I'm not sure. I haven't really used it enough to see for sure how good it is. It might be better with lower ranking players, that bonus 10 damage. But yeah, not the biggest fan of it, but I've seen some people say good things about it as well. Alright, moving on to the bodyguards. Up here we've got the most expensive ones, the Tomb Stalker, very scary looking model there, as well as the Sun Eater. These are the 2 most expensive Necron units, but they're a little bit too expensive to actually be very useful. It's very hard to actually build a deck around them. So, and the Sun Eater, even though it's legendary, that taunt trait really does not work very well on it, I don't think. Now, the Necrons did just get a new legendary card here, the Void Dragon. This is a much better option. 20 points less, it actually deals more damage than the Sun Eater. It does have less health, but a better trait, precision shot, I think. And yeah, so this is definitely one of the most powerful Necron cards now. I will definitely be using this a lot in the future. I've been using a lot up until now the Deceiver. He's about the same amount of points as the Void Dragon. Good stats all around, powerful ranged and melee. And the trait at level 2 is pretty strong, Outflank. I will probably, continue to be using this guy in the future as well. He does get a lot more powerful with each upgrade. Moving down the line, we've got the 4th Katana Shard, the Nightbringer. This one is a more melee-oriented bodyguard, but yeah, I don't really have enough copies for it to be very useful, so I probably won't be using it for a while. Over here, this one you do see used quite a bit, the Annihilation Barge, very powerful ranged mono attacker. One attack type is kind of a disadvantage, I think, a major disadvantage for a lot of units, but less so with the Necrons because it kind of enables them to ready more, which synergizes with the Stormlord or if you're running those warlords. This is kind of a similar unit, the Doom Scythe, except it has more health and regeneration while sacrificing some of its damage. Necrons do seem to have a lot of these high health bodyguards, but they don't deal a whole lot of damage, which is not really the kind of playstyle that I like, so I prefer going for more of the glass cannon, powerful type units. So I haven't really used this Doom Scythe very much. This is the Praetorian Stalker, one of 3 bodyguards with Inspiring Presence. This is by far the most expensive one. It's got a lot of health, though, to keep that buff going. I haven't used it a whole lot, though. This is one of the other Inspiring Presence ones, the Overlord. Legendary card here. At level 2, though, it is pretty weak, so I haven't really used it very much. My favorite bodyguard with the Inspiring Presence is this guy, the Royal Warden. He's much cheaper, so he's easier to fit into any Necron deck, I think. One more level and he can gain a respectable boost in range damage as well. Let's see, we have here Illuminor Ceres. This guy went through a rework. They made him a little more powerful and gave him the Medicae trait. And he is now one of 4 bodyguards, Necron bodyguards with a Medicae. But this guy is pretty expensive. I don't know why he's this expensive, because his stats are really not that great. So I haven't actually used him at all. Now looking at the other Medicae healer units, we got the Canoptech Spider, this Diviner, the Cryptech, as well as another Cryptech down here. They're all pretty similar in points cost, but I like this guy the best. He's the cheapest, just by a little bit, but got decent stats. So I use him a lot on decks. And we got a few melee mono attackers here. I don't really use these guys very much. I prefer things like this. The Heavy Destroyer has Berserk, and I think this is one of the most powerful Necron Berserkers, because that damage buff goes to both its ranged and melee attacks, making it quite powerful. However, this Destroyer Lord, another Berserker, this guy is pretty good simply because his stats. His stats are really powerful for that really cheap cost of only 19 points. This is another 19-point card, but the Plasmancer has a lot of damage but very little health, which is kind of unique. Not very common for Necron units, at least. And a lot of these units down here I haven't really used very much. Got things like this, which don't have a lot of damage but have a lot of health and regeneration. I think they would work pretty well with maybe the Corpse Lord or the Stormlord, perhaps, so might try them out in the future. Down here we got the Tomb Blade. This thing has the Scout, allowing it to ready on deployment. This works really well with the Stormlord. And the Crypto Thrall here is a cheap unit with Taunt, which is a very useful thing to have. It's able to protect your stronger units. At 9 points is very easy to fit into any deck, so yeah, this guy's very useful. And then towards the bottom here we just have a bunch of different infantry type units, and they really have pretty similar stats, so they're kind of interchangeable. So yeah, you can just throw those in when you have a few spare points. So that is the Necron roster for you. Yeah, with the new Necron event this month, they really got a whole lot of new units, as well as opportunities to get lots of cards, so they're in a much better place than they were even a month ago. Now you can see, looking at my ranked score at the moment, Necrons used to be one of my lowest factions. I didn't really play them at all, but now they are, yeah, number 1. So yeah, doing quite well. I've been using the Stormlord quite a bit, and yeah, having some times with them. And you may have just heard a little noise in the background. That was my rice cooker going off. But anyway, so here we go with the Necrons for you. Let me know if I missed anything. If you have any questions, of course, feel free to ask. But as always, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.